Hello Libra, welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. If Libra is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your reading. Please hit the like button, leave a comment, consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. And if there's anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. All right, this is going to be a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I'm merely the messenger. And I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I might provide. And remember, Libra, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And there is a Queen of Pentacles. Very, very strong, very successful energy. This is someone that knows how far they've come and knows where they're going. I think big changes are coming. I think you're ready for them. I think you've already made a lot of progress. Yeah, these are really, really spectacular cards here. We're going to do a mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. For that, we're going to use the Waite-Smith Tarot, or the Smith-Waite, as I've been trying to call it more lately. And one card, we'll put the alien right there on top. Now, we're not going to look at that until the very end. Okay. And hopefully that card will tie everything together and give us the confirmation that we need. So we're looking around here. We've got really just this Death card is the major arcana. This is the only major that we have. We have some fire, some water, some air, and some earth. This is really the perfect configuration. We have a complete balance of elements here on the path of the dove. This is very special. This doesn't happen very often, I gotta say. I feel like it's been happening more and more lately. But this really is, I think you're going to be really happy with this. This is very balanced. I think every area of your life right now is pretty balanced. Everything seems to be in alignment, right? And then on the path of the serpent, we have some earth, some fire, and some water. So we're kind of lacking the air over here. The air that we have is yesterday's news, right? Yesterday's problems. Today is a new day. So let's start with today. Let's start with the Queen here of Pentacles, discs, diamonds, coins, wheels, perhaps. This is you right now. I think that you're in a position where you should be looking back at how far you've come, right? Looking back at what you've already accomplished, right? The figure on this card is sitting here in a nice successful position. You've already accomplished so much in your life. But it may be beneficial to you to remember that, right? This figure is kind of looking back over the road. I don't know if you could see the details, but looking back over the road that they've traveled, the winding path that they took to get right here, right now. And this is your history. This is your path. This is the road that you took. Okay? And I think really what we're looking at is this Four of Swords, but we'll get to that in a minute. That's, again, yesterday's news. The figure here is also looking forward, right? We don't really know where they're looking. Could be behind them, could be in front of them. This could be the frontier. Yeah. I think you still have so much that you want to do. I think, if anything, you're taking a little bit of a rest right now. If anything, we're in this position where the other elements, earth, air, fire, water, are so balanced that we just kind of feel like we're floating right in the middle, right? It's the zenith of a trajectory. You get to the very, it's like one of those zero gravity airplanes, you know, when they get to the very top of an arc, and that's when you feel the 0 G's, and then we start, you know, descending again, and then I don't know what happens, gets crazy in there. But this is that moment at the very top, like at the top of a roller coaster, you know, very top where you just feel weightless for a moment, and then we start moving, okay? I think what we're moving into is a lot more hard work, but a lot more success, a lot more manifestation, a lot more creativity. We see a lot of good things here. Really, really do. I'm happy with this, Libra. I really am. I think that you've already attained so much. You've already accomplished a lot. And I think right now is the moment where you need to acknowledge that, right? This is the top of that trajectory where you can be weightless for a minute. You can feel as if you're floating, as if there's no weight on your shoulders, there's no gravity, pushing you down. Just experience that, right? Just experience these elements that are kind of suspending you right now. Because we do have a lot more work to do. I think that you are someone who is responsible for a lot. Now, you could be the head of your family, you could be the one in charge at work, or you could be kind of the leader of your friend group, maybe, or whatever it is. I kind of feel like there's a lot of responsibility on you. Like maybe you take care of a lot of people. We see a couple cards that give me that kind of caretaker vibe a little bit, or a caregiver kind of vibe. Maybe not in a professional way, but I feel as if there is a lot that you kind of like have to check up on every day. It could be your plants. It could be maybe you're out here watering your plants every morning and every evening. Maybe you have patients. Maybe you do work in healthcare. But I feel as if you have accomplished a lot. Now, maybe you have done a lot of schooling and you've completed a good portion of that, or maybe all of that. Well, not all of it. I think we're lifelong learners, but enough of it to get the certificate or the degree that you're after, right? If that's your path. But I feel right now you've got a nice situation for yourself. I think we just need to look at the past to really appreciate how far we've come. Now, let's look at this Four of Swords. And this is yesterday's energy, yesterday's news. This is all of the trouble. This is what feels to me like it was confusion, it was uncertainty, it was kind of not knowing which direction to go. It was having a map but not seeing the destination, right? This is kind of like the X marks the spot. This is us finding the X, knowing where our destination should be, and now we just have to travel and go and do it. So I feel like maybe we were a little aimless at some point in our life where we didn't really have a very clear idea of what we wanted or where we were going. Yeah. This could be really a lot of people too that were kind of in our way, maybe friends, maybe family members, maybe coworkers, just these minor incidences that they all build up to something kind of major, but it's just these little things that would just get in your way, little obstacles, little disagreements or conflicts, right? Little frictions here and there, and we know that friction slows us down. So I think a lot of your past accomplishments was really smoothing out your life, streamlining things, getting rid of whatever friction was there that was slowing you down. Yeah. Because we all know that friction is bad. So, this was, I think, getting rid of things in your life that were holding you back or slowing you down, whether they were relationships or habits or, interests or just time consumers, right? Time consumers. Energy vampires, right? We started watching the new season of What We Do in the Shadows. That show is so funny. My wife says whenever I watch that show, I start talking like Laszlo, so I'm going to try not to do that. But this is getting rid of any really obvious obstacles, wastes of time, right? Relationships that were holding you back too much. So I think you've accomplished a lot of this. You've overcome a lot. You've probably sacrificed a lot to get where you are. And this is something that you should look back at and be thankful for. Be proud of yourself for it. Because it is all part of this transformation. We have this Death card. The Death card maybe is one of my favorite cards. Maybe one of my favorite cards. And that's because of the growth That's because of the rebirth. That's because of resurrection, right? We have to lose things in order to accept what's coming. We have to be able to let things go in order to make room for what we really are expecting, what we really want, what the universe is providing for us. Yeah. So I think that, again, you have sacrificed everything that wasn't working for you on the altar of your future. You know, you have, I think, a lot of heart. You have ambition. You've always had ambition. There may have been a lack of focus, and that's because maybe there was too much friction in our lives. Getting rid of that friction has now prepared the soil for you to really grow your abundance, to really manifest the future that you want, the kind of life that you want. And that's exactly what we see over here. We see basically a garden over here. So it could be that you are literally a gardener. You've got a lot of stuff around the house that you're growing. Maybe you contribute to a community garden or something like that. You know, I think you've got a green thumb, for sure. And I think that that it is, what do they call it, a bumper crop or something like that, right? Where you plant something just to keep the soil kind of, keep it full of nutrients, right? To make sure that we take care of the soil so that when we really grow our crop next year or season, I'm not much of a gardener, I try, but my wife's teaching me. We are perhaps staying busy so that we can, just keep up on our chops, that we can stay in shape. So I feel like even though this is a period of that kind of suspension, the weightlessness, the zero gravity feeling right at the top here, where we're getting ready to do, the next phase of our work, I don't feel like that's an idle time for you. I feel like you have a lot to keep you busy no matter what. But as far as your long-term plans go, I think that this is the moment where we can reflect on where we've been, reflect on where we're going, and reflect on how we're changing. How are we becoming evolved beings through this process of letting go and growing new? And it's a metamorphosis of you as well as of your life and the world around you, right? You can't change your world and change your circumstances without you being changed a little bit too. Now, I don't think we change fundamentally in our spirit, in our core, in our soul. We have an Ace of Cups down here after all. And this is you remaining the same through all of the various appearances, through all of the work that you do, all of the growth that takes place. Still at your core, you are the same spirit, the same soul, the same like Ace of Cups, right? You are the same source of love and joy and beauty and bliss. No matter what, you were this before when we were in all of this friction and or confusion. You are this now that we're in this kind of intermediate period, and you will be that in the future when we kind of tackle the next phase of our work, right? This is unchanged, and this is down below. It's beneath the surface. This is the source. This is the love that you feel for what you do. And I think you base a lot of your choices on your intuition, on your connection with spirit, how you feel about it. Not just, oh, I like it, I don't like it. No, but a deeper feeling. Something that penetrates your core of who you are. So I think all of this other energy really does rest upon this Ace of Cups. And this is really the driving force. This is kind of the radiance that, or maybe the standard. I don't like the word standard really. But this is the light or the radiance to which you compare everything else. When you make a choice, you see how it resonates. If you bring two things close to each other and they both start lighting up and resonating, I don't know, one of these harmonic things. I don't know what they are. But two things that are of the same frequency, bring them close, they'll both start resonating or vibrating or lighting up, you know. That's kind of what I'm feeling with this Ace of Cups. I feel like you get close to something and you see if you're resonating with it. And if you are, then that's the confirmation for you. And if you're not, well, then it goes into the junk pile in the past here, and it's just going to be more kind of fertilizer for the soil. Yeah. And that may seem like a pretty obvious thing. This is nothing really, you know, I'm not, this is no revelation to you, right? Because you do this, you already know. I'm not telling you anything new. But I feel like this is very important for you, especially when we get to the path of the serpent here, because I feel like there's some more going on. There's going to be some more maybe trial and error. There's going to be maybe some more uncertainty. There's going to be some more challenges to overcome. We're going to have to really rely on this Ace of Cups. Again, this is the cup that's supporting everything. Okay. Now, tomorrow's news, 5 of Wands, activity, creative activity. This is you expressing yourself. This is you doing things. Right? This is you, we've passed the center point of our trajectory, and now we are really kind of rolling downhill, kind of free falling now, but in a good way. Right? Because you're building speed, you're building momentum toward your goal, toward what you are working on. I don't know what your work is. You know, it could be this garden maybe. But this is things really picking up speed. Okay? And I think it's going to be a big shift. This is kind of you putting the car in gear and pedal to the metal now. So things are going to change quite drastically from this kind of nice intermediate state. Things are really going to start moving fast. Okay? And I think this is your intention. I think whatever you're working on now, you've got to be all in. Right? You've got to be all in. So the 5 of Wands here is the speed that we need to maybe not get too held back by obstacles, and not to really be too affected by the frictions that are coming. You know, to get back into the atmosphere, you got to be going at a certain speed and trajectory so that the friction of the air, just of the air, doesn't completely wipe you out, burn you up. Yeah. So this is kind of the perfect angle and speed, and then it's just go. Yeah. So this is the initiation of the next phase of your plans. Now, we didn't talk about this Prince of Discs up here. This might be an earth sign person in your life. Usually when I get a Prince, it'll be someone of that sign who's trying to communicate with you, or to whom you're trying to communicate. Now, this card's up above everything. So I don't know if this is someone that you're looking for, someone that you're looking toward, or you're reaching out to this person, or maybe they're coming in trying to reach out to you, but it's an earth sign person. And I don't know if you're in this intermediate kind of phase, this weightlessness right now, because we're kind of holding our breath, we're waiting for this person for something before we kick into this fire energy and start going, you know. So I don't know. I don't know who this person is necessarily. Yeah, nothing's really coming in as far as their relation to you. I'm getting a little bit of a sibling vibe, but it could just be a friend who is close, you know, feels like a sibling. I don't know if it's somebody that you haven't talked to in a while, and you're reaching out, or maybe they're trying to reach you. I don't know if maybe they were part of this past friction, and it's kind of just a lingering issue now. Maybe this is something that hasn't quite yet been resolved, or it was part of this 4 of Swords, but now it's kind of coming back up. Perhaps. Something to be on the lookout for, something to think about. Okay, in the next few days, see if this begins to resonate. Now, moving over to the path of the serpent, we start with the 8. I'm talking about the 4, but now we have an 8. The 8 of Pentacles is your general energy. And this is the very detail-oriented. This is you really, once we kick this 5 of Wands into gear, it's like you are just outside, you got your gloves on, you've got your tools, you're in the garden all day long, from morning until night. You're very focused on all of the meticulous details. You're going to have to be reminded to take a rest, get out of the sun, find some shade, drink some water. Or in my case today, we're having barley tea. Take a break, because you're going to be so focused on these little details. And the problem here, if there is any problem, I think this is great energy. My cat thinks it's great energy too. I apologize for the distraction. Now, the only issue that I see with this card here is that we're going to be so wrapped up in these little details that we might be causing our own friction. Yeah. We might be slowing ourselves down because we just can't get past certain, well, rather minor things in this work and whatever we're doing. It feels like we have all of this speed, and that we kind of get slowed down by all these little details. We stop to look at every little tree, every little bug, every little plant or twig that's in the ground here, rather than following through with our goal for the day, or reaching our milestones and whatever is going on here. So there's so much of this that I feel like it's starting to slow us down. Okay? And this is some kind of self-generated friction. It's friction within ourselves, or just with our relation to the environment. Now, there's nothing wrong with this. Being meticulous, being focused on details is a very good thing. But we're going to need this reminder to, hey, let's step away from this for a second, go sit in the shade, have some lemonade, and let's refocus, let's recalibrate, and continue on with trying to get to our campsite for the night, right? And the next card we have is exactly that, the campsite. These are setting milestones for yourself, right? This is not just we're going to go burning back into the atmosphere and then, oh, look, we got stuck here in this tree and we're just going to look around and this is our life now. We have to set smaller incremental goals for ourselves. It's like, okay, well, today this is what I want to accomplish. Tomorrow or next week, in a month from now, we got to set milestones, set reasonable goals that we can attain. Now, we have our ultimate highest goal, of course, but we need to build on the kind of previous wins, right? So we have to have all of these temporary campfires. Now, these are, again, temporary, right? So these are milestones, resting places that we set for ourselves that, okay, when I get to this particular point, then I can stop, right? I can take a breath, I can rest, and then I'll keep going, okay? And each one of these little resting places is a win. It is a manifestation of your creative will, okay? Because you're saying, I want to accomplish XYZ by next Friday. Next Friday comes, you've manifested that. So that's another kind of reinforcing win for you. And I think that is going to kind of reinforce your ability to accomplish these things. You know, it's going to keep us going. It's going to keep us fueled. Yeah. So it's, I think, very important that we structure a plan like that, where we have these kind of incremental accomplishments, milestones. Okay. And I'm very curious what you're doing, because I feel like it's definitely something creative. It's something that feels pretty fast-paced, but then we get caught up in some details of something. So we've got to like keep the pace, and to do that, it's going to be good for us to have these milestones or these benchmarks that we're trying to reach. Okay. Now, the energy we don't want. 7 of Pentacles. Failure. Wasted effort. We don't want that. We don't want that. We don't want to feel as if all of our focus and attention, all of our efforts is not resulting in what we want. Now, the problem with this card is that we don't know if it means, you know, your physical efforts are not resulting in the manifestation that we've set out for. It's like you're not reaching the benchmarks, right? You're failing to take care of these details and then also reach your benchmarks, your milestones, right? These kinds of these goals or deadlines that you set for yourself, are we failing to reach those? Is that what we're talking about? Or is this a failure of another kind? Is this a failure for you to really connect with what you're doing? Remember this Ace of Cups. Because this is a lot of hard work, and I don't think there's going to be any issue with you achieving, you know, physically the results of your efforts. But what we see next with this 2 of Cups, we have to talk about the Ace of Cups again. So we see this kind of pitfall right here. This is like the final hole in the ground. We've got to leap over this. This is maybe us getting stuck too much in the material results. Not that the material results are not going to happen, but that we're going to get lost in them. Right? That's a dark kind of pit of just enjoying the material accomplishments, but we're missing this resonance. We have to remember to check everything against our inner Ace of Cups to make sure it vibes with us, make sure it resonates. Are you feeling connected with the work you're doing? Every time we stop for the night and have this little campfire, let's be the Queen of Pentacles and let's reflect. Let's see if everything lines up within us, in our heart, in our soul, in our spirit, right? Let's see if it has that resonance. I think that you're going to be very happy. I think that with the 2 of Cups here, we have the perfect complement to the Ace, right? You've got an Ace of Cups. What's better than having 2 of them that harmonize, right? Bring 2 of these together, and that's what we get. Pure love and joy. So I think you're doing your will. I think that you are going to continue to experience this kind of love and connection with the work that you do. And this doesn't have to be a career thing. I should have mentioned that. It doesn't necessarily mean a job or your employment or what you do for money. This could be a project at home. It could be your life path as a whole. You could be in retirement already. You could be at university. Maybe you have a job. Maybe you're just starting out in your career. This is however it resonates. Okay? But to end on the 2 of Cups is very, very positive. Right? Very optimistic about what you're doing. I think that if it's not making you happy, we're going to kind of tumble back down here and we're going to start with these details and these incremental accomplishments, and we're going to explore this pit. This is a darkness here that we don't want it. We don't want to fall in that pit, but we need to be aware of it. Right? We need to be aware of all of our efforts. Is it resulting in what we actually want? Whether that's just money, whether it's this water energy. Are we getting out of this work what we desire? Right? What we kind of set out to accomplish. Okay? And you can have both. It can be material success. I really think that it is going to be successful on the physical plane, but we need to also have this soul connection with it. Okay? And I think you do. I think you will. As long as you keep this in mind and we remember these energies. But now let's look at the mystery card. Thank you, Alien, for helping us out with that. Okay. Can't get him to stand up. Well, he's tired. As far as the mystery card goes, I would like to see maybe maybe some very balanced water energy. Maybe something further down the tree, like a 9 or a 10 of cups. A 6 of cups would be fine. Something in the earth energy. We have a lot of earth already, but maybe something showing the blending of the earth and the water. Yeah. So, let's see. Well, it's a Knight of Pentacles. A Knight of Pentacles. This is quite nice because I feel as if it's the perfect complement to the Queen of Pentacles. So I feel like you're having your cake and you're eating it too. You're having the soul connection with what you're doing. You're having the creative connection with what you're doing. And just the fact that it's another earth card. Another disc, another pentacle. Showing that this is going to be very successful. You're going to be in, and sure, there's going to be challenges. But you're doing this work, you're accomplishing what you set out to accomplish. And it's doing both. It's giving you the creative expression that you desire. It's giving you the emotional connection, the deep, soul connection that you're looking for. And it's going to be physically, materially successful. So I couldn't imagine anything better. I think you're going to be very happy. I really do. To have one of those components, if it's just materially successful, okay, that's a win. Or if it's just a creative expression, hey, that's a win too. Or then on the third hand, if it is just something that you enjoy, if it's just something with the soul connection, well, that's a win too. But I think you've got all three. I think you've got all three of these wins, And the fact that we don't have any more air energy in here, except perhaps this Prince of Pentacles up here. It's somebody on the physical plane is you're trying to connect with them or they're trying to connect with you. There's some discussion needs to happen with this earth sign person. Okay. Other than that, there's no other air energy here because I think that there is no conflict, there is no friction, there is no worry. It's just this is wonderful. I think it's big changes going from here to over here, but I think you're going to be very happy. And now we're going to do an extended. If you would like to stick around for the extended, just click up here. That'll give you access to every extended reading, not just for Libra, but for all signs. Okay. I want to thank you for taking this little journey with me. Thank you for letting me read for you. And thank you for being the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot.